Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this fifth day of March. Boy, I tell you, it feels a bit like April here, more ways than one with the weather here in the southeastern part of the country and big warm up here. We got college basketball's heating up the NBA. Got Jason Tatum back. Well, yeah, it feels like, wow, we're just right in that playoffs atmosphere. But hey, listen, big trade, another big trade today in the NFL. We're going to talk about that with the Mad New Yorker, also the Knicks. And I was asking about that Knicks question, but hey, now they got competition with Jason Tatum back. So stand by, folks. We'll take our first and only break, and I'll hit the ground running here shortly here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, and they got the Mad New Yorker, who may be pretty mad today. Hey, Carlo, how you doing, man?
Man, trying to make it, bro. Trying to make it.
Yeah. Look, great background there. Got your Rangers hat on. Did want to ask you one of the bigger stories of the day, Jason Tatum. That idea of him coming back's been floated around for a few weeks. I wasn't sure. Maybe he'd come back a week or two for the playoffs, or maybe not. Now they're saying he's going to come back Friday. You know, I originally wanted to ask you about the Knicks, but I guess we can loop all this in together. What's your thoughts about him coming back to this? What I want to say, they're the 2 seed right now, the Celtic team. What's your thoughts about that? How this conference is, or the division's shaking out right now? You there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a good. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Chief.
Yeah,
there's a delay.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this. That for me, he needs to take his health into consideration, and if he doesn't come back, I don't think he was gonna, either way, he's gonna get some kind of there was gonna be some kind of feedback that wasn't gonna be positive for him. So, but I guess he's coming back. I guess they're talking about Friday, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for the Celtics. They're a well-oiled machine right now. Browns taking them with the MVP type of season. But
would you put him in the MVP right now, Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, because what
he's really carrying them, ain't he?
Yeah. What if you don't have if you had Tatum on there, it's just a different dynamic, and he's, like you say, he's carrying the team, and I think he's getting a lot of help from a lot of these Eastern teams, though. Atlanta division teams, they're helping him out a lot. So, but still, he's doing his thing, and he should get rewarded for what he's doing. And it's a spectacular season that he's playing. And with Tatum coming back, I'm not sure that's gonna increase the scoring, but the defense is what is Tatum gonna be able to play that defense that they need him to play. And the problem was there were games last year where Tatum played that he lacked on defense. So, we'll see what happens. But it's good to know that we got another NBA All-Star back in the Eastern Division, make everything more complicated and more competitive. So,
yeah, okay, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I said this the other day. If they can not have to play Boston, the Knicks, and Detroit, which it probably won't shake out that way because you'll have brackets and everything. I think they have a good shot to make the finals. But what's your thoughts of going back to Sunday? Hey, man, they beat the Spurs. They're 3-1 against the Spurs. And the only loss was by 2 points. They just flat out match up well against the Spur team that looks unstoppable at times. Stopped their big, 11-game winning streak there, man. What's your thoughts about that? What's the buzz around town about that?
Well, I mean, after yesterday's game with that, the two guys missing the 3 points, shots at the end of the game, which caused them to lose that game. I think right now everybody's just kind of like on ice, very, very tiptoeing very slightly, because that was a game that the Knicks that they were leading in, and that was a game that they could have controlled a little bit better against the championship team, and they at the end of the game they kind of reverted back to last season, where they thought they could just catch up. And you can't play catch up, man. And I keep saying that. And and you don't have to shoot threes. I feel like in the last 5 minutes, had they attacked the basket and just kept attacking the basket, Oklahoma would have been overwhelmed.
Well, yeah, you're talking about Oklahoma. See, I was talking about the Spurs team.
Okay,
go ahead.
I was going to get to that. So even with that team that
was last night's game. Excuse me. Yeah, they did lose. It was a 3-point game. So they matched up better with them than I thought they would. I'll be honest with you.
That's what I was going to say. And then you take the Spurs, who are better than both of those teams, and in the sense
they look better anyway, don't they?
Depth wise and team, they play better team ball, I feel like, than those two teams. And they're not depending on a star; they're depending on just playing hard. And Wemby is a star, but Wemby plays hard. And when he's not in the game, the team plays even harder because they know he's not on the court. So it's a dynamic that it works in their favor because they're young and they can run up and down the court. They're able to do that. It's a young team there, and the Spurs have, and they have very good attacking forwards, and they're very good shooting. So with the Knicks, I think, and I'm not trying to be a bias, have a bias here, but I think the Knicks can match up with any of those teams. The problem is that they don't stay on a good, consistent run. They'll make big runs, and then they'll let the other team catch up, and they think that they could catch up. And that's a mentality that they need to kind of like not have in their head. They need to just be like, we're going to go at this team and just beat them. And I feel like if they change that mindset and mentality and stop trying to shoot all these threes when they're not necessary, they would be better. They would be better and match up even more with the Spurs team. So,
yeah, they got to stay healthy. I'm curious to see how they're going to match up against Boston now. That Vucevic trade, I want to say, wasn't that a trade deadline move from that's the Orlando center there, if I'm not mistaken. And Horford now is with Golden State. Part of me thinks I don't know if we really know how good Boston really is, because now that you've got Tatum back, can he be 100%? Can he get up the par? He's got a good 5 weeks to do so. Now you've got a legit big man that can score on a nightly basis, on a more consistent basis than Horford. Now he's up there too, but he's not as old as Horford. I'm talking about Vucevic, who played for Orlando forever. Right. It's interesting to see how a team that as soon as Tatum went down last year, I was like, okay, you just wiped this year off the map as far as Boston Celtics. And now it's like, no, Boston Celtics are alive and well. They're like Freddie freaking Krueger, man. They're a very interesting story. My Celtics fans are going to like this take, this talk right here. But I just don't see they, April 9th. It's on a Prime Video I saw. Just looking at the schedule, the Knicks will play the Celtics on April 9th, just before the playoffs. This is towards the end of the regular season. That's that one of those things where you just don't know how it's going to play out, because both guys got new players. You got new coach in there. But as the Knicks, I mean, they show what their capability is. And going back to San Antonio, I mean, you think he kind of – I know it's early in his career, but as of right now, it seems like the book on Wemby is just be physical with him. And the playoffs, they let you be more physical. What's your thoughts about that aspect of it? John Rostano brought that up last night. Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of reckons back to the old head of Tim Duncan days, where everybody's like, the only way to beat this kid up, the only way to get to this kid is to beat him up. And it's the same thing, and he'll take it. Tim Duncan would take some of those hits. He played against Olajuwon, he played against
bigger though. He got wise.
Yeah, and so and then on top of that, he had another partner there, and David Robinson, that they could just kind of play off each other. But Wemby, the only thing is Wemby doesn't have that other big man on the team. He is the big man, and you just got to be careful, and just he needs to just be more team oriented and be more and just keep playing his style of basketball and not be forced into trying to be the one to take over the team. Once he tries to do that, you can see that the Spurs kind of like just give him the ball, and like Michael Jordan type deal, just give me, and you don't want that from Wemby. You want Wemby to be like
a Duncan type.
Yeah, like you just want him to be. You want him to be able to play basketball and use everybody to the best of their advantage. So because I'm not saying that he's not the best player on the court, but he can be the best player on the court. So the distinction is that depending on what the time is, what the breakdown is in the situation, he can take over in the moment. But you don't want him to take over in the whole game, because that's not how he plays basketball. The guy is a great passer. He's a great rebounder. He sees the court. He can actually dribble the ball up and down the court. He sees if he has to do that. He doesn't have to. So you want to use all of his tools and advantage to your advantage. You don't want to just be like, give him the ball, So because that can actually be a deterrent and go. It's not a fail safe, It can go back on you. So that's something.
Yeah. You know what? It may be a little premature, and I thought it would be. I mean, geez, the guy's only in year 3. He's still growing. He's still growing as a player. He's still getting bigger. He's still sizing up other teams. He's still trying to figure out what they're doing with him. Same thing with his team. I mean, Castle is only a second-year player out of Connecticut. One of the better defenders in the league. That guy right there is money, Then you got De'Aaron Fox there. That's the guy. That's the veteran, like you said, that I would probably lean on come playoff time and run a lot of high pick and rolls and just be more of a facilitator if I'm Wemby, So they're going to be an interesting team to watch, man. But, like I said, going back to your Knicks, pleasantly surprised with how well they matched up. And, it's the playoffs. When the playoffs come next month, and if they're still fully healthy, the refs are going to let them play. So Mitchell Robertson, you want to keep him out of foul trouble as much as possible, because you're going to need him defensively, because you're not going to get consistent defense out of Towns. And that's for sure,
I think the NBA that we're watching now is that's one of the biggest problems that you mentioned, is like having the defense from these grade A players. We're not going to see the defense that we need to see. So you're going to see like these games get crazy at some points. So.
Yeah, to football, the big trade today. Buffalo, I was thinking maybe Tennessee could trade a 4th-round pick for DJ Moore. And Buffalo said, no way, buddy. Always overpaying. I like DJ Moore. Very good player. Very good route runner. He'll be 29, though, here pretty soon. And they owe him about $38 million. And Buffalo ended up giving him a 2nd-round pick there. I look back, DK Metcalf got a 2nd-round pick. Sometimes DJ Moore is considered the number 1 in the Bears offense. Sometimes you can maybe say 2nd-year player Rome Odunze. And one of those tight ends may be the number 1 option. I'm just surprised that the league did, hey, you are what the market says you are. I mean, and Buffalo says, hey, we'll give you a 2nd-round pick and we'll pick up the rest of that salary. What's your thoughts on that? Does that fix their passing game, bringing in a DJ Moore in Buffalo? What do you think about that from the Bears' perspective?
Yeah. So to start with the Buffalo Bills, once they let Stephon Diggs go the year before last, 2 seasons ago, it was already something that they had to play catch up on. You saw the struggle that Josh Allen had this year in trying to get the offense going. You saw that he kept the ball more this year and ran a little bit more than he should have because he didn't have that one guy he could just throw the ball to. So now he's got an actual target. My thing is can DJ Moore step it up? Like you said, Doomsday was getting a lot more attempts, and I think Doomsday has a wider range of catching, wider range for catching the ball.
Yeah, much younger player, maybe a bigger player. He may have longer arm. They may be the same height, but and I like DJ Moore.
Yeah, no, DJ is not.
You did get a Doomsday though, too. You know,
right? I just think Doomsday has more range as far as he'll go and try to catch the ball in different positions that is more of a he's more of a concern, more of the typical big game, catcher. Like, let's see, and so that's going to help Josh Allen a little bit, but I don't think it makes the Bills a better team, to be honest with you. I think that they still have a few more holes to kind of like, patch up there. So I think it was good for Chicago in the sense where it helps their budget wise, right? That's one less person they have to worry about contract wise.
Yeah.
So they can make a little bit more. They have room now to do a little bit more and maybe even find somebody in the draft that they don't they have to pay for, because again,
I think it's huge for the Bears. I mean, they got that salary relief, man. They had a center retired on them this week.
Yeah, and
27 years old, and that, man, this really helped them out. They got money to go. By the way, Buffalo needs to re-sign their center. Their center's pretty good. I didn't know their center was a free agent, man. Can you believe that?
There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen in the next few days for some of these teams that's going to make them make or break the season. And going back to the Bears, you're talking about a quarterback. He wasn't going to throw the ball anyways if there wasn't he doesn't throw many interceptions, and he controls the ball a lot. So sometimes he holds on to the ball a little bit longer than he should. But again, you're not going to see those kind of mistakes. And I think that because Moore was like a very conventional route runner and didn't stop and go, is just regular stop and go and run just regular route. Caleb Williams and him didn't match up in that sense. Where Doomsday would go all over the place because he's paying attention and his range is bigger, and that was a bigger help for Caleb Williams.
Doomsday flourish, and he has not even hit his full potential. They're just 1 year into Ben Johnson's offense. Now next year, he's been dealing with that foot injury. I think he'll get that past him. Odunze, remember he had that foot injury. It kept him out for quite a few weeks last year. And then they've got that huge tight end. They got that really good tight end core there. They're good offensively. Just go out and get a center. I know that there's been talks about Max Crosby from the Bears. Now they've got some ammo to go out and get Max Crosby, but Crosby's going to be a lot of money. I'd get the center taken care of first before I had Crosby type of ambitions. I'd get that squared away first. But yeah, I think it's a huge, huge trade there. Also, McDuffie, Trent McDuffie, the Kansas City Chiefs trade away all-pro corner to the LA Rams in exchange for the 29th pick, which is the 29th pick overall, first round pick, 5th round pick, and they got that 3rd round next. They got the 6th round also, but a 3rd round next year. Last time the Rams had, and I said this to John, man, last time the Rams made a move for a big-time corner like that, Jalen Ramsey, They end up getting back to the Super Bowl. As of today, things can change, even in the preseason without injuries. But as of today, I would probably put the Rams in the Super Bowl with that move. That's how good a player McDuffie can be. That was only a real weakness, special teams and corner. And I'm telling you, man, they still got that 13th pick. They can make a play there and get maybe another corner, get a guy like Quinton Mitchell and Cooper DeJean combo, like the Eagles. Remember how high we were when those two guys were end up getting drafted to the Eagles? Well, sure enough, that year they end up winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, so I think it's huge. And for the Chiefs, I think when I first saw that, I thought maybe, man, is it the 13th and the 29th? And I thought maybe the Chiefs won that trade. And I saw, okay, maybe the Chiefs can fill some more holes there, but they're going to be able. You're going to have to throw. You can't throw on the Chiefs now. What's your thoughts about that trade, man? As far as the Rams are concerned, or both sides there?
It's just a money move for the Chiefs. It just opens up an opportunity for them to make some
and
moves.
Fill holes too.
Yeah, and then they can also they're very good at drafting anyways. They got some of the best scouts out there for defense and especially in the later rounds, they get great play out of their picks and they actually are, most of them stay on the team, where some people pick after the third round and have those guys they cut anyways and during training camp. So, but the Chiefs are the other way around. They end up getting these guys and they end up playing out their contracts and sometimes they even get, a contract renewal. They got to find somebody for Jones, to be by his side anyways. They need somebody on the line at the tackle play, at the defensive tackle. Someone near Jones, because Jones is, that's their number one player in the defense, and
for Kansas City, yeah,
Kansas City. So
yeah,
you got to put somebody next to him, and just to pick him up a little bit too. So that it was a good move for both teams. The Rams, man, listen. I don't know if you put them straight into the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if I'll do that, but they definitely will be in contention if they can stay healthy. And that's the only thing, is that if they can stay healthy, and that defense,
Stafford's age is just, anything can happen with him, and the injury with him, that would throw everything for a loop.
We saw when they played Seattle, what they were missing, and man, having McDuffie back there is gonna make that team a little stronger, like you said. And these draft picks, man, I think Kansas City, like I said, does a better job than I think LA would have done anyways, right? So, and they got a player out of it instead of just moving up and down in the draft. They actually got a player out of this, and it's something that they needed to fill that hole. So,
yeah,
big moves for these teams, and they're going to be both teams are already better by making a move. So,
yeah, and you know what? A lot of it depends. I mentioned this the other day. It could go south for Kansas City. When Tennessee traded A.J. Brown for a first and a third, the two players no longer on Tennessee. They were totally bust. If Veach can hit on those players, this is huge. This is two starters that they can put in there. Of course, one would be in 27, but you're getting to a point now where, you're paying Mahomes so much money, you're going to have to build more off of players, that are on rookie contracts, and they're going to have to contribute more and more, because there's only so much cap room to go around. So you look at that perspective, man, and plus they need tackle, just like a lot of teams. It's the first thing they let this Juwan Taylor guy go the other day. They're going to have to replace him first, then maybe go defense. But fantasy-wise, yeah, you could probably throw on Kansas City, even though they got a very good defensive coordinator. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Spags is one of that go unnoticed, and he's actually you want to have youth on that defense with Spagnuolo. he does a lot of these defensive moves where he's attacking the quarterback from different angles. He does a lot, and if you got guys that are older or guys that are coming off an injury, they're not gonna be really good at that. And you saw that with some of these older guys that they had on the team, and so you look for him to also be on when they're talking about picking up some of these younger guys in the draft. He's gonna be part of that conversation. He's gonna be in that conversation, and he's gonna let these guys know, hey, this is what our defense needs, and they're gonna get. You better believe that they probably move up to get some of these top rated rookies that are going to come out this year in defense. So plus it's not only it's defense heavy and offensive line heavy this year. So this is a good year for them to make that move if they want to build on their defense, right? You have those guys coming out of Ohio State, highly recruited players that came in and played the top-ranked defense in the championship series and trying to get to the championship. Indiana, same thing. They had a few guys on the team. Georgia, you got these colleges that were in the championship series. They have a lot of. They're gonna have a lot of guys going to top 10 for sure. So,
Kansas City's got. They got 4 picks with that extra first round in the top 100. Right. And then a 4th round pick is 109. But Robert, Chiefs fan, you really got to hope they hit on these, but that's a good for them. I think it's a good reset year. There's a chance that they can bounce back, and I know that Mahomes is coming back from that ACL, of course.
But they always, even when they were coming off the Super Bowl wins, they were drafting low. They were drafting in the lows,
32, 30,
and still got great maxed out on the players that they got in those rounds. They do a great job in scouting, and they do a great job in getting personnel that their coaches can develop and that they use, and that's what's important.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kyler Murray's got cut. We talked about that last week. Do you see a situation for him? What's your thoughts about him going to be released next week officially?
I just think it's good. It's a good time for him to just cut ties. The problem is that Arizona's going to eat up that contract.
They've already made that decision. It's Arizona.
And so, but I just you talk about smaller quarterbacks. You mentioned and I look at it like this. It's an opportunity for him to go and do something somewhere else. He's very athletic. He's a gamer. He needs to bring it back to football mentality, football sense, and bring it down into the leadership. Maybe work on those things. But those things come easier when you have skilled players and a coach that can help everything come together. I don't think he had that consistency in Arizona that he needed for his play to shine on the field. And if you're 6'7" or 5'9", man, it doesn't. At the end of the day, that is not going to matter unless the coaching staff uses your skills and your abilities to the best of your potential. And so I feel like I'd rather here in New York they're talking about Tua coming to the Jets. I'd rather it be Kyler Murray than Tua. Age-wise,
the Jets are just really scraping for anything, aren't they?
I mean, well, if they're going to reset with the quarterback, I'd rather it be Kyler Murray than Tua. Nothing against Tua, just and here's the thing. Tua doesn't play too well in cold weather.
Tua sure is.
And Kyler Murray probably would do better on this turf than Tua would anyways. Because he's a speedster. So
at least Tua knows the division, though. That's the only thing I would give Tua the edge.
I mean, a lot of guys know the division. The coaches know the division. They know each other. And they still suck at games when they play each other. so it's like that familiarity doesn't always breed the best of situations. So
yeah, I tell you what, man, this I mentioned this to John Restano the other day that you mentioned the Jets bringing in a guy like a Kyler or a Tua per se. And I mentioned to him that, Matt Flynn was signed by the Seahawks back in 2011 when he had 2 starts. This dude had 2 starts. One of them, he had like 6 touchdowns in a meaningless game against Detroit one time. And the Seahawks signing and their 3rd round pick, which was Russell Wilson, ends up beating him out. So they just basically gave this guy 3 years, 20-something million. Now, that, like, mind you, it's 2011 now. Now that'd be $60 million, right? For 3 years for a guy like that. For a guy like Malik Willis, who has improved a lot. But $30 million for this guy, 25 to God bless him if he can get an NFL team to pay him that. It just tells you about the scarcity of quarterbacks, man.
He's going to be close. He might not get to 30, but he'll get close to that, man. He's going to get 25 plus for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know who's going to pay him. Maybe Miami. I don't know. Maybe Atlanta brings some competition because Penix is hurt, and they're going to cut Kirk Cousins and release him. You got Cousins here that's older in his career. It's hey, like I said, you had Russell Wilson come in there as a 3rd round pick from Wisconsin, take the job over to get to the playoffs, and next year the guy wins a freaking Super Bowl. Could this be a year where you do get bring up? I mentioned this the other day with you. We talked about it. What if the light bulb just goes off? The system's perfect for Garrett Nussmeier, who was picked, could likely to be picked in the 3rd round by somebody, So it's interesting to see how that plays out. And a lot of these are just off fear, there's so much fear out there. I mean, I don't know why the owners can't see that. And the whole Kirk Cousins thing, I knew that was pure fear. I said, that's a big time insurance policy. And then they turn around and then they drafted Penix. What was it, like the 8th pick? And Cousins is like, what? You just gave me 4-year deal, man. You just gave me 100 plus million. It wasn't like he was signed for a proven contract. So that's all out of fear. As the insurance policy, it bought him a few years. The owner called on to it. He fired everybody anyway. So go figure.
Yeah. I wouldn't even mind him to see him back in the division playing the Titans, man. Maybe going to Indianapolis. Malik Willis.
Oh, yeah. Well, Daniel Jones is still coming back from Achilles. They gave him that transition tag. Boy, they got so many tags out here. $37 million. They're going to try to work out something with him, even though he's coming back from Achilles injury, man. I mean, but there's so much fear from that owner there.
I don't trust him healthy. Might as well coming back from that kind of injury.
I mean, he got off to a great start last year, but he's another guy that he does get hurt a lot, man.
Robert, man, that ain't how you start. It's how you
finish. One thing, part of ability is availability. That's another one you can throw the hands out there. But yeah, somebody's going to pay Kyler Murray some money. Oh, yeah. The Athletic had a story out saying, I want to say it was the general manager for the Vegas A's. I don't know what they're going to be called now. Saying that, hey, he wouldn't close the door on him coming back to baseball. Maybe what a story that would be if this guy just goes back to Major League Baseball. He's only 28. I was just looked up his age here. Make him a pitcher. I don't know. He's a pretty good athlete. Go back to baseball, get in the minor league system. What do you think about that possibility?
There was a couple guys that did that.
Well, Bo Jackson, Deion,
No, it was Bo Jackson and Deion played both baseball and football. This guy, if you're talking about him just going back into completely, wasn't it like Drew Henson from the college player from Michigan?
Yeah, he went back to football, and it didn't work out. He tried to play under Parcells, and because he started over Brady, and he's like, hey, I could beat out Brady. Well, Brady put a lot of work in, got some skills, and It didn't work out, but good man. You got a good memory. Yeah, Parcells there. That's a storyline nobody's really talking about. The Athletic kind of just shot that out the other day, and I thought, well, if I'm an NFL team, I told you this the other day. Him and Tua have jobs in the NFL. They're just backups. You know, they're good for 3 or 4 games. You don't want them to be more than 3 or 4 games because they're going to get hurt. Not if, when. Same thing with Bryce Young, the quarterback from Carolina. I know he had a pretty decent game against the Rams, but you seen him the week before. The ball's a little slick. Them little hands just slip right off the ball. He couldn't do nothing against Tampa.
Yeah, but you know, two seasons ago, I mentioned this when I was like thinking that like I'd rather see this guy come to New York, and they ended up giving him a spring training invite, Russell Wilson, because they had this other Wilson that the New York Jets ended up drafting, and I was like, no, you know, that would have been a perfect time to have Russell Wilson in New York because he was at least 1 year prior to doing what happened, and we ended up getting Wilson in New York, but it was a little too late for him, and you know who knows, like, look, whatever these guys get and wherever they're comfortable, as long as they're, you know, they get an opportunity and do good with their opportunity that they get. But if they squander opportunities, you know, what's a phone call, you know?
I sent you a screenshot of these unrestricted free agents.
Yeah, I saw that.
Anybody here that you're thinking, man, I sure would like to see where player X is going? Is there one particular that stands out for you?
Yeah, the MVP of the Super Bowl, man. I want to see where this running back is going to go.
Well, a lot of people's interested in the Kenneth Walker sweepstakes. Huh?
I think he should just stay with Seattle, but like,
apparently they don't have the cash, you know, and they want to take some chances with Charbonnet.
Business eventually, yeah. It's like
coming back from injury. Kenneth Walker is going to be an interesting one.
I just don't know how did Daniel Jones get ranked so high. I want to know who made this list.
Yeah, this is from the Athletic, you know, and quite frankly, the guys at work and people around town, I don't know why. And here we go. I mean, this is Athletic. This is legit media source here. I like Trey Henderson, but he was hurt last year, and he is in his 30s. This is the edge rusher from Cincinnati. Yeah, he led the league 2 years ago in sacks, not last year. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. You know, I may put a Jalen Phillips above him because he's a younger player per se, but I'm interested of all people in this center here, Tyler Lindenbaum, man. Yeah, you know, I talked about him yesterday. Dude, this guy is Jason Kelce level player here. Second in Pro Football Focus, center behind only Creed Humphrey for Kansas City. The guy is going to be 26 years old. He is right in the prime of his career. But Lamar Jackson's cap hit is so big that the Ravens, man, they can't afford him. They was trying to give him $18 million, and he wants more. And I'm thinking he's looking at that team thinking, yeah, you're going to be giving Lamar a ton of money, and you're going to start getting other players away. I might want to be on a championship team and get paid. You got teams like Tennessee with a lot of money. The Chargers also need a center. They're up there. The Chargers got a lot of – I don't know how they figured out. I guess a lot of people just contracts expired at once. But they're paying Justin Herbert, but they got a lot of money. They may be a Super Bowl sleeper for real. But you got to look at that 13% California tax up there, you know. So the Bears, their center, I mentioned this earlier, their center retired the other day, dude. He was 27 years old. Does he go play for the Bears? Illinois state tax is nowhere near what California is. It's like 4. And you got a shot at the Super Bowl too. So that guy, I think he's the best free agent out there, a center of all team. But hey, man, you need a good, clean pocket for your quarterback, and you want a guy that's to bowl people out of the way. and make lanes for your running back, man. I'm really big. And quite frankly, Stephon Diggs, I told you this was a bad dude. You know they cut him. They're going to cut him too, by the way, the Bills. Much rather pay a guy like a Tyler Lindenbaum or one of these linemen big money, Trent Williams or whoever. Not now, but when he was in his heyday.
Right.
These flashy wide receivers. What's your thoughts about a guy like Lindenbaum and the hype he's getting?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of hype. He's got a lot of offers. I think he's just like putting them all together to try and get the best offer, which is what he should do right now. Because
maybe like 25 mil. I mean, that's a lot, but it is what it is, right? It's going to be a bidding war for him.
And it's a need right now in the NFL. Everybody needs like linemen, and you know, I was just thinking too. I'm looking at this list, man. Like Itne and Pierce, those are the two guys I thought would be in the top half of this list.
Are you that high? Why are people so high on Pierce? Are you? He's another guy that's going to be probably the top receiver out there.
It's the opportunity that you give some of these quarterbacks to giving them weapons, right? Like imagine if you get Pierce in Tampa Bay with what's his name, Baker Mayfield, like or even Edney in Tampa Bay, like like it's like you. Or I could probably see Edney go to the Chiefs now that they got money.
Who?
The Chiefs. They need a running back.
Oh yeah.
So these are situations that can change.
ETN. Who did you say? Edney.
Huh?
Who did you say this now?
ETN.
Yeah, ETN. Yeah. Now you know something. I like ETN better than Walker because ETN can do more. He's better in the backfield. Yeah. Walker's playing on a better team. I love Walker, but he was playing on a championship team. I know that. How
about this? If you put Walker on that Jacksonville team, do they get further in the playoffs?
I mean, it's a push, man. Look at the whole season. You can't just look at the playoff run. ETN can catch like a 30-yard pass. And he could take the ball inside. I don't know why the Titans don't. Maybe the Titans do get ETN. I was talking to Rich Ferris. He was sending me texts saying that the Titans are going to take Love. I said, I know I'm reading that. Why? Go sign ETN and get one of these edge rushers. Get one of these, because it's harder. Edge rushers just command more money, okay? Why not get one on a rookie contract that you already got that set base pay in? Running backs, you get a free agent running back from 10 to 14 million. That's a bargain compared to how much these wide receivers are going to command. Allen Pierce is going to command 22 to 25 million, And by the way, Darnell Mooney, I don't know why he's not on this list. Maybe he will make it. But the backup, the number 2 wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons is going to be cut next week too. He's a very good number 2 receiver, Darnell Mooney from the Atlanta Falcons, who also used to play with the Bears. So yeah, I like ETN a lot. But Walker's not a big pass catching guy, man.
Just 2 years ago, Saquon couldn't get signed by the Giants, and all of a sudden the Eagles went in there and gave him a pretty decent deal.
Yeah, I'm starting to really take a turn on my school of thought here as far as running backs and second contracts versus wide receivers and second contract. If you really look at it per se, a running back they touch the ball more. I mean, they could get 30 touches a game. How many times can you get the ball to a receiver? How many end arounds can you do? 8, 10, maybe 12 most for a receiver. A running back, you could still build that way around a running back. And we talked about that. And look at those numbers, 42 million. JSN, they're going to try to keep him. That's why they're doing what they're doing in Seattle. I'd let him ride out on that rookie contract, and I'd be finding his replacement right now. But that's me. Yeah, if I can't. Not unless somebody knock me down with a major offer, man.
So you're for keeping him in Seattle now? Because last week you were talking about just get rid of him.
Well, now talk about JSN.
Yep.
I'd get rid of JSN if I got swept off my feet with 2 first rounds and a 3rd round pick. That's crazy talk. But people like the Bear or the Raiders owner, he's crazy. He may try crazy stuff. He's not going to do it. That's if it happened. But coming into year 4, you could still let him ride out on a year 4. I don't think he's going to sit out on year 4. Now, 5th-year option, yeah, he may sit out, But if he did sit out, yeah, I'd trade it. I'd move JSN, man. I just would not. I talked about it last week. Look at the success or lack thereof it with teams who paying these receivers a lot of money like that. When you're starting to get into that $40+ million range, it doesn't make sense as far as you equating that to winning, per se. So this is going to be fun, man. Yeah, and Rich said that him and the guys, I guess they didn't want to catch another beat down. He said they didn't watch enough basketball, by the way, to come on do a Final Four show. So I'm hoping you can come on the Wednesday before the NCAA tournament. We'll do a Wednesday show, and I'll do a replay that Thursday. I don't think I did a Thursday start of the NCAA show probably in 4 years, because it's so good. So you cool with that, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm like, look at me, man. I'm tired from watching all these games, man. It's tough, but and the worst part is I'm on East Coast time here, so I feel like
late.
I feel like the game yesterday, it started late.
Who's that?
The Knicks game against
OKC. It was a big game, yeah.
Yeah, it was late, and I was like, why they started so late? And then there was a game after that. Atlanta played Atlanta won, and they play who they play? Milwaukee. And I don't know why I stayed up.
Back, but I don't know.
Giannis is back. Yeah, so I was like,
maybe he's auditioning for another team next year. I don't know what his thought is, man.
Yeah, but I just saw like a team go on a court of like a shell of itself in Milwaukee, man. I was just like, and I'm just watching.
They should have moved him already. It's just you could always see when they kind of miss the boat, and somebody's going to pick him up in the offseason. It would be your Knicks or the Lakers or a wild card team.
It looks like Karl Malone's last year with the Jazz.
Oh my God,
he's still scoring.
He goes to the Lakers. Remember that? And then he's kind of sitting around
the game, but he's just going through the motion, and you're just like, what is going? Like, it's not ultra competitive. It's just being on the court, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he could have had 40 points.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Lou Holtz? I don't know if you followed him that much. I was always inspired by his great speeches, man.
I must say, out there in Notre Dame, we're going through Lent. The Catholic people going through Lent this season, and this is.
Are you Catholic?
Well, I was born and raised Catholic.
Okay.
I'm Christian, but
okay.
I want to say this: that what an inspirational man to other young men at the University of Notre Dame. Kept them in the straight and narrow. Notre Dame in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and even
early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s. This man was a stalwart, man. He was someone that was a light to some of these guys and showing them how to be men, going from young men to being men. And he's going to be missed. So my prayers go out to the family, the Holtz family, to the former players of his, to administration, and all those who worked at Notre Dame University, and also were he had his hat on, and a lot of people, even after he retired, a lot of people still would when he visited Notre Dame and when he was around, they would be around him, and he was still inspiring them even after he got out of football. So
yeah,
this is college football, the University of Notre Dame, and people who knew him and people around him. They lost a good man. So prayers go out to all those who knew him. So.
Yeah, John Rostano mentioned yesterday. He said, "Didn't he get under Ryan Day's skin?" I said, "Yeah, he did." The coach, he said they were soft. And I went back and looked that up. It was back in 23. I want to say that was probably when they lost one of those Michigan games, and he stuck it right back to Lou Holtz when they ended up beating Notre Dame. It was a very close game, though. Very funny stuff. Hey, you know what? I got a few seconds here. Check this out. This is him at a commencement speech. The great Lou Holtz. Listen up.
See, you need 4 things in your life. If you don't have any of these 4 things in your life, you're going to have a tremendous void. See, everybody needs something to do. Number 2, everybody needs someone to love. Number 3, everybody needs someone to believe in. In my case, is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. But the 4th thing you need in your life is you need something to hope for. What do you want to do? Having hopes and dreams and ambition. See, I think that is absolutely critical. Don't make the mistake.
Yeah. And it's something that keeps you going. I mean, that dude has got so many speeches like that. You know, I remember how Dan Patrick used to joke around. They put their pants on the same way we do. He just had a way with words, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's, I just hope that there's more and more young men that turn into men and then just can be just as bright as light as these guys who are slowly leaving us.
Like
we're only getting a little bit older ourselves. So, all these men that we used to look up to slowly are going. So, I hope that there's behind us just as bright lights as that we were able to see.
Yeah, something. I said this yesterday. I understand people's going to die. That's just, we all have a life expectancy, but it still bums you out to see guys like that pass on. But like you said, I've always looked up to him. Just his speeches, man, he just had a way of motivating me personally. Listen to guys like that. Just great coaches. Bob Knight, I remember when he got fired from Indiana. Yeah, he was kind of a jerk, but man, he's a good coach. He got everything out of his players that he could possibly get, And you see these guys, he passed away not too long ago, and it just is what it is, man. He's an inspiration. He's 89. He's always looked the same to me. Going back from 91 all the way up till now. But anything else you need to plug?
Yeah, man, I'm just wrapping up some things right now. We got New York baseball is going to start in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The World Series baseball kicking off tomorrow.
Are they playing overseas somewhere? Did I hear that right?
Well, they're playing in Puerto Rico. They're playing in different locations. So
okay, is the World Baseball Classic this week?
Yeah.
That's this week. Okay. Does the Yankees open up again out of the country somewhere, like on the 27th or something like that? Or do you hear that right? Also,
I know that they're playing a day. They start a day before the Mets do.
Okay.
So I don't know. They might play an exhibition game, and it counts as their first game because they've done that before the last 3 seasons.
Oh, you're saying a game that's not at home. It's
in Japan. Didn't it be in Japan?
Neutral site game or whatever.
Yeah. So, but it's coming up, man. Spring training's already going through, and I want to say this to everybody who might think baseball is boring.
Yeah.
Right? Catch some of these games this weekend, and you're going to see a different atmosphere. You're going to see something different than you would see.
Baseball Classic game, World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, they're just a little bit more.
Dude, they're intense. That's why.
Yeah, and
they love baseball down in Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Some of my friends, the first one I've ever seen, I was like, dang, they treat this like the World Series up in here.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna pull a hamstring. It's so early.
There was a game this past week that the Detroit Tigers played the Dominican national team.
Yeah.
And you would think if you could find it on YouTube, you would think that was like a World Series game. The amount of noise from the crowd, the intensity that was given out from the crowd, and it's just a different vibe, man. And it's
is.
a good vibe. It's it's necessary for this sport, and I think that this World Baseball League Classic is going to be something that will inspire these players even after spring break to just keep going and being competitive, man. Because baseball is such a long season, so
sure is. I wish it started. It's the opening weekend in my perfect world will start this weekend. It would start this weekend, and it would end. Probably the regular season would end around the 1st of August, and then you would start the playoffs in August, and maybe by Labor Day, close to Labor Day, you would start the World Series. But it's
just crazy cold in some places still. Here in New York, we just had some last few days of nicer weather, but we had snow like 4 April. So.
Yeah, well, you'd start off in the warmer environments, and dome teams and stuff like that. So, Mad New Yorker, everybody, if that's all you got, brother. Appreciate you, brother. I'll see you next week. All right, everybody. I'll be back here probably Monday. I'll record a show and see, we'll talk about what happened this past weekend. So, have a good weekend, everybody. I'll see you next week here live on the Real Sports Scope. And by the way, please, if you like the show, please share the show. Thank you, folks.